The big story that we have for you this afternoon is what is happening between India and China. A lot of developments have taken place in the last 2 to 3 days. Modi Sarkar's Mazboot policy, it seems, has started working after being pushed back at the border by our brave forces and expansionist China being exposed. Now, rattled Beijing has been forced to reach out to New Delhi. Even as military level talks took place earlier, in fact, India is in a stronger position. That's what some experts are suggesting, and India's stern warning, it seems, has started working as well, the kind of measures that India has been taking. And also what is very important is that now the statement that has been issued by China does not really make any claim to the Galwan Valley. That's very significant development that has taken place. Srinjoy Chaudhary and Mohit Sharma joining us live right now for more on this. Srinjoy, to you first. Firstly, explain to us how India has managed to push back China, not just from one point, but from other points as far as the LAC is concerned as well.
Yes, as far as the Galwan Valley is concerned, there are no Chinese troops in the area. PP-14 is clear of PLA troops. PP-15 is also clear of Chinese troops, as is PP-17. So as far as that entire area is concerned, the problem has been sorted out. They have moved back and well behind what India believes is the line of actual control. So while that problem has been sorted out, because India has been saying one area at a time, that entire Galwan, Hot Springs, Gogra area has been cleared. Now we are looking at the Pangong area and the Depsang area. On Monday or Tuesday, Lieutenant General Harinder Singh and Major General Lin Liu are meeting. Either Monday or Tuesday is what we are hearing. And the issue that will be taken up is clearly Pangong and also Depsang. The point here is that, yes, they were at finger 8 and they have moved to finger 4, where they had built sangars and so on. Now, the positive sign here is that they have moved from finger 4 to finger 5, which is something which is appreciated. But now is the process of further pullback. They should ideally be moving back to finger 8. Now, those talks will begin on Monday or Tuesday, and we will see how far that position happens. Also, Depsang, they are to some extent inside what India believes is Indian territory, and there is a very strong build-up there of Chinese troops. That has to be sorted out as well. And the third and major problem is in the rear echelons. There are about 3 divisions of Chinese troops armed with 100 tanks, 100 plus tanks, I would say, armored personnel carrier, 2 or 3 regiments of artillery. That's a very strong force. India naturally has had to have a commensurate force there. Now the point is, this is something which is against the peace and tranquility treaties signed by India and China. So India will tell the Chinese on Monday or Tuesday that, look here, you came here first. This is against the treaty. You move back first, and then we'll move back first. These are the 3 major points that have to be looked at on Monday or Tuesday when that meeting takes place. We are also hearing that there will be another working mechanism meeting coming up. Okay. It is being planned, but we will have to see when that happens.
Okay, so next week is going to be extremely critical. Let me also now go across to my colleague Meghna, who is joining us live right now. Mohit, I'll come to you in just a bit. Meghna, I believe you have some map to show to our viewers how on the ground the situation currently looks like.
Well, absolutely. In fact, Hina, Srinjoy has very clearly enumerated to us, because it's important for us to remember that disengagement is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens in certain stages. So, which is why disengagement is still currently underway. We get our viewers satellite maps which are coming in by several of private individuals as well as entities who tell us what it looks like is happening on the ground. As Srinjoy was pointing out, let's look specifically at the Galwan area. Now, this is what Detresva has given to us. They have tweeted this and they've given the two images of satellite images saying that this is the area. Remember, this triangular area that you see, this is PP14. This was the original clash site where it had begun. Now these are the two maps which are coming in from the 9th of July 2020, which is barely 2 days back, and it shows very clearly in this area. In the earlier maps we were showing, this road which goes this way is towards the Chinese positions, and this is the road which is now much more clearer. Earlier, remember, this is the area where we had seen several posts by the Chinese which are believed to be tents as well. Several such constructions had popped up in this area, as Srinjoy is explaining to us. Now close to 1.6 to about 2 kilometers, there has been mutual pullback of the troops, and these are the images which show. These are the areas, remember, Hina, we've been showing to all our viewers in the past as well. In the May, we had seen the build up, and June, the build up continued to remain there. And now, as we can see, this is the latest images from 2 days back on 9th of July. We can see all the Chinese posts which were visible around here. All of this area is now clear. Goes to show that disengagement has been successful, but again, it comes with a rider. As Srinjoy tells us, this is just the Galwan area. Of course, there are several other areas that the Corps Commander level meeting is going to be looking into, be it Depsang, Pangong So, where already PP5 has already become a no patrol zone. We are hoping that very soon the entire process of disengagement is going to be completed. Hina.
Right. Meghna, I'm just requesting you to stay on with us. I have another question for you, but before that, I want to quickly go back to Mohit as well. Mohit, now another important aspect that we are focusing on is how in the statement that has been issued by Chinese envoy, for the first time perhaps Chinese envoy skipped claim to Galwan Valley. That's also very, very significant.
Well, absolutely, Hina. What we've seen over the last few months is the fact that Chinese had been specifically focusing on not just Galwan, but had been claiming that there was no incursion from their own side, and at the same time they were absolutely in no mood to not just understand the Indian perspective, but to give an attempt to the Indian side to even give an attempt to the Indian side to come out and explain themselves at this particular point, and that's exactly something that India had been arguing against. But what has happened over the past few weeks, and I would say over the past couple of weeks actually, is the fact that China has not only retracted, it has been forced to pull back rather, and at the same time internationally it has been under extreme pressure from not just the US but from Russia and other countries also, who have very importantly come in favor of India and have obviously told the Chinese very specifically that what they are doing is completely wrong. At the same time, even if you hear from the Japanese and other nations, they've all suggested that the Chinese ideology and the policy of expansionism is something that has not gone down too well with the world, and that's exactly something that they stand against. On the other hand, for the first time, in fact, as you've rightly pointed out, the Chinese envoy himself, not claiming the Galwan and stressing on the fact that at this particular point, what they need to do really is to understand and improve the ties between the two nations, is something that is absolutely fresh and something that India would of course agree to. But definitely what we've shown to the Chinese at this particular point is the fact that we would not be bullied. We will not stand down if at all they try to encroach upon our territory, if they try to intrude into our territory, or for that matter if they try to bully us.
Right, stay on with us, Mohit. Let me go back to Meghna. Meghna, if you'll recall, a couple of days ago, Rahul Gandhi, in fact, had put out a tweet in which he had put out both those statements after NSA Ajit Doval had talks with the foreign minister of China, and the process of disengagement really gathered steam after that. And at that time, Rahul Gandhi had highlighted the fact that how China had said that China will continue firmly safeguarding our territorial sovereignty as well as peace and tranquility in the border areas. And that time, Rahul Gandhi had asked that why is there no mention of the territorial sovereignty of the Galwan Valley? So perhaps, this question for sure, do you believe has been answered now?
Well, absolutely. And I think that a government which is in power needs to be circumspect about the kind of statements that they give out. Most of the strategic experts have also said that it's important that governments do not make loose statements. For example, the Chinese ambassador, who had earlier come out and categorically said that Galwan has historically belonged to China, which is a false statement because there are clear treaties as well as maps, US intel reports also that we've been showing to our viewers, which clearly say that historically Galwan Valley has always belonged to India. Rahul Gandhi was not answered to per se, but now that we have another statement, for example, coming out from the Chinese ambassador, which came out late last night, no such claim was made, which is why it's important that given the facts which are coming in ground, the facts which are available as per the satellite images, that the government need not make loose statements and answer to every criticism which is coming in from the opposition parties, because at the end of it is a very delicate process of diplomatic engagement, be it at the military level, be it at the diplomatic level, that needs to show the results of that on the ground instead of statements which are being made on social media to cater to a certain theatre. In fact, not just Rahul Gandhi, several other leaders have also said, has China invaded, has China taken our territory? Now we have satellite images which are showing precisely where the Chinese outposts are, which are suggesting, and so has the army, considering these are Corps Commander level talks which are deciding what is going to be the roadmap for the disengagement. The army is best placed to explain what is happening on the ground, and if they tell us that disengagement has begun, satellite images are there to back it, I think this is answer enough.
Right. Thank you very much, Meghna, Mohit and Srinjoy, for the moment, for joining us with all of those details and putting things in perspective for our viewers. Let's also welcome our guests who are joining us on this broadcast, Major General G.D. Bakshi. We also have with us MC Abbas, who is a political analyst. Let's take the opening comments first, and then we'll play out the reactions, the political reactions that we've got for our viewers. MC Abbas, what will you say now? If you've heard what my colleague Meghna had to say, that the bottom line is it shouldn't be politicized the way it has really happened, because on the ground the satellite images are showing the reality.
Well, certainly, ma'am. I did hear Mohit, Mr. Srinjoy and Meghna ji, and but as a matter of fact, the Chinese have always been on a bullying end, and one of the neighbors which are absolutely not trustworthy, because we did see the commander level stage-wise disengagement talks coming through at the Galwan Valley, at the Pangong, but at the same time we saw Chinese mobilization of forces at the north of Ladakh border, so that the Dapsang area. So that sends in a big question mark. I think the progressive way to go is to understand that we need to be resourceful. Our armed forces are valiant enough to come through with this. But yes, trusting the Chinese will be a big question mark, which I am sure the Indian Armed Forces, the Sena, the commanders are very well aware of.
Okay, Major General G.D. Bakshi, the view is that, we need to be extremely cautious. We can't trust China with the kind of statements that are being made. We all know what had happened 58 years ago, back in 1962, sir. What will you say?
No, absolutely. It is very heartening that a very firm response at the national level, all of the government response, including all elements of national power, military, diplomatic, economic, have been used to push China back, and it has withdrawn for 2 kilometers, which is quite clearly evident because a picture is worth 1,000 words. But I would agree with the previous speaker that the Chinese just cannot be trusted. Just cannot be trusted. The simple fact is, after what the 6th of June agreement had also spoken of a disengagement and pullback, we all know what happened on the 9th of 15th June. For the first time, the Chinese have, caused physical casualty, have caused, though they did not open fire technically, they used lethal weapons to kill at least 20 of our brave hearts. And though they got it back in the bargain and they lost about 43, the simple fact is that we should not worry so much about the inches. What is more germane to the issue is that 2 Chinese divisions the 6th Mechanized Infantry Division, and the Chinese 4th Highland Motorized Division have come down from Xinjiang and are postured very aggressively against our borders, right? Very aggressively against our infrastructure. They have to go back to status quo ante, and only then I think we can take a sigh of relief.
Okay.
Otherwise, it would
I have a
be
quick question
celebration
for
would be most highly premature
Okay.
and immature.
Okay.
And may I remind people of the headline that was there.
Yes.
You know, in 3 months before the 1962 war,
Yes.
our newspaper
We all
had
remember
carried
that
a
headline of 15th
stating
of
that
July
the Chinese have
1962,
been
sir,
forced
that you're
withdraw
referring to.
And congratulating ourselves, you know, and 3 months later the war started.
Absolutely.
So, let the Chinese go back first, these two formations. Let status quo ante be restored. This disengagement is for both sides.
Okay.
You
Very
also
important
to come
point
back.
that you've made, and the sense we get is that too early to start celebrating, too early to start indulging in chest thumping. Perhaps we need to exercise caution. I know MC Abbas wants to respond to that, but have to slip into a very, very short break, and we will be back and continue this discussion on the other side. Stay on with us. Welcome back. Here with us on Times Now. Jolted by India's hard stance, China has been pushed back from a few points. Pangong and Depsang to be discussed next week. At the same time, China has swiftly erased the Galwan claim. That's the big story that we have for you. And here are some political reactions.
Let the facts speak for themselves. Let's have a free and fair commission of inquiry that should tell the country where we stand. Have we faltered somewhere? Have we failed somewhere? Have we been cheated somewhere? Have we been betrayed somewhere? Whatever the truth is will come out. The fact remains that this country needs to be told why 20 young men, brave young men, lost their lives.
It is a positive statement coming from Chinese side, and already from Indian side, our special representative, Mr. Doval, keeps talking to Chinese side, and both sides have agreed. That is why that disengagement took place, de-escalation of tension took place. Now, how to move forward? So, we are saying both sides should continue to have intensive negotiations at the highest possible level so that both sides can arrive at some amicable solution. This is what we have been saying.
MC Abbas and Major General G.D. Bakshi continue to be with us. MC Abbas, you wanted to make a point. You heard the political reactions as well that we've got Salman Khurshid clearly now demanding still free and fair inquiry in this.
I completely agree and second and echo the statement of Mr. Salman Khurshid. He's made a very valid point there. Because many questions arise in our country as every citizen asks us why is to lost the life of 20 of our Indian soldiers and where did that happen? That is a question which hasn't found an answer yet from the Modi government. Also, as a matter of fact, I'd like to know from Major General G.D. Bakshi Sahab, who have great respect for. Bakshi Sahab, aap mujhe ye bataiye, please let me know. Don't you think we should answer Chinese in the way we have dealt with Pakistan? Here, why isn't India on an attacking mode? Why are we so defensive?
Are you calling for a war, MC Abbas? Are you calling for a war? If diplomatically things are sorting out, shouldn't that be appreciated?
Ma'am,
let Major General G.D. Bakshi respond.
Not being sorted out. Because the Chinese are not trustworthy. They are still...
No, but then they have been pushed back. They have been pushed back. China is being questioned by the entire world. Every country, most of the countries, in fact, in the world are supporting India's stand. Things are different.
But
situation is not what it used to be in 1962. I want Major General G.D. Bakshi to come in and respond. Yes, sir.
But Chinese aren't trustworthy.
Abbas, can I have a edge in a word?
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
Bakshi Sahab. Go ahead.
Thank you. Acha. Now, what I was trying to say was, look, please understand the basic, essential nature of the military problem. The military problem is not about inches of land here and there, so that is what it sort of amounts to in the media. The problem is that two Chinese mechanized divisions with tanks, infantry combat vehicles and artillery, which are normally based in Xinjiang, came out for exercise and have been deployed against our borders in Ladakh, in eastern Ladakh, posing a threat. By just being there, please understand, they are posing a threat to a vital highway which has been constructed from Darbuk Shok to Dolabeg Olding, right? This is the basic essential problem, and therefore a very just demand has been that the Chinese restore status quo ante till these divisions go back to their peacetime locations in Xinjiang. Status quo ante is not restored. What has happened so far is that there has been a disengagement of troops. Both of us have moved back about 2 kilometers back from the forward position so that we avoid a clash of troops like occurred on the night of 15th, 16th of June.
Yes.
I fully agree with you that we need to do more. We need to do more, and my frank advice is that rather than sticking to the letter of the Accords of 93, 96, 2005, etc., which are now dead as a dodo because of the lethal action that China has taken, we should now worry more about securing our tactical interests, progressing from patrolling our territory to securing our territory, which secures the road.
Yes, that's an important point that you have made, Major General G.D. Bakshi. We appreciate your point of view, and thank you, MC Abbas, as well, for joining us on this debate. Of course, we will be tracking this very, very closely ahead as well. Thank you, both of you, gentlemen. We're slipping into a short break.